Hello everyone, welcome to Newstead with Practice 3 walkthrough. So we'll just get started straight away. So we have VR word meanings. Find 2 words, one from each set, that will complete the sentence in the most sensible way. So first question, gift is to receive is the answer, as parcel is to send, because those are to do with the actions of receiving a gift and sending a parcel. Number 2, broad is to wide, because it's to do with the sort of width or the length of something. As crevice is to fissure, because a crevice is a small, like, crack, you could say. Like a fissure is like a small, like, hairpin crack, in essence. Question 3, partake is to participate, because that's a synonym. As withdraw is to remove. These are synonyms, so that's what makes sense. Coat is to cold, as sunglasses are to hot. Those are consistent to do with temperature and to do with the clothing that you'd wear. Chasm is to deep, that's to do with the depth of something. And superficial is to shallow, because it's also to do with the depth. So yeah, that's it for question 5. One word from the answer options will go equally well with both pairs of words. So for question 7, seat, stool, leader, spokesperson, the correct word should be chair, because you can be a chair of like a board, or you can have like a physical chair to sit on. So those 2 things. Question 8, we have anchorage, mooring, abbreviate, curtail. Dock is the right word, because dock is to do with, you can dock points, so like get rid of points, and dock to do with like a sea dock, which is to do with anchorage and mooring as well, so that fits in both. Question 9, we have basket, crate, impede, and hinder. The correct word for this to fit both would be hamper, because hampering is the same as impeding or hindering, and you can have a hamper like a picnic hamper, like a basket and a crate. Question 10, we have residence, home, statement, and speech. The correct word here would be address, because you can have an address for a home, and you can address someone to do with something, which is to do with talking. Question 11, money, currency, gentle, kind. This would be tender. You can have a money tender, or you can have being tender. So yeah, just those 2 words. Okay, now we have VR, complete the word. Each question features 2 words which are opposite in meaning, complete both. So for question 12, the 2 words should be, you can kind of tell they are oppress and encourage. Those are opposite. So oppress would have P-R-E-S, and encourage would be O-U-R. For the 13, we have beautiful and grotesque are the 2 words. So we have U-T-I, and grotesque would be T-E-S. We can tell because those are the 2 opposites. Then for 14, this one is quite hard, but we have 14, M-S-T should kind of give it away. This means modest, and the other is gaudy. This one's quite difficult. So we have A-U-D and O-D-E. For question 15, we have, this word should be intricate and simple, because we have 8 and S-I-E, so R-I-C and M-P-L, those 2. Okay, for question 16, we have panicked and relaxed, so we have I-C-K, you can kind of tell by the pan and something, L, so A-X for relaxed. For 17, again, this one is a little bit hard, but we have cowardly. You can kind of tell more from the second one, so this would be cowardly. And then we have heroic, R-O-I. Essentially, the best way to be able to figure out these words is to really know your vocabulary, because then it will be easy to kind of pull from that and use it. So for this, we have learned, is this one, and uneducated, which are the opposites. So yeah, D-U-C and A-R-N. 19, this one is a little bit more obvious because of the E-R-R-O-U-S, aren't many words like that, so this means erroneous. And the other word is accurate. So yeah, just really know your synonyms and antonyms. For question 20, we have, the second word is easier, so we have interesting. And then the antonym of interesting would be insipid. to fit this. And then we have 21, this would be adversary, so like a foe, and then we have a friend here. For 22, we have, this should be resilience and fragility. You can kind of tell by the first word more. So resilience and then fragility here. And then 23, this one is more obvious. This is superfluous and this is essential. So yeah, those are all the words.
So for these questions, you have to, if you read the instructions, you have to move one letter from the left side into the right side. So you take the C away, you make close and limb. You can see the two options here. So with question 24, initially whenever you see an S, that's a good sign that it might be a good option. So if we take away the S, you can see it's turned from shins to shin, and I can just put the S here, and you got shin and chips. Okay. For question 25, I would initially, you can see you could take away the B possibly, but that doesn't fit anywhere. So I'm going to rub that out because that would have made rain, but nothing here. So what I'm going to do is take away the I, and you get bran. Now if you don't know what that means, I want you to look it up in a dictionary or Google it and then write it down in your vocabulary list. You should have a vocab list that you're keeping throughout the summer school, and you want to start to try and use these words in your writing, for example, or in your speech. That's the best way you can start to make sure that you know what this word means and you utilize it. So where is the I going to go? You're going to get it right here, and you're going to get solid. Okay. Now again, another S, you take away the S, you get clam. That's a word, and then waiters. Okay, clam and waiters. With this one, take away the S, you get L, and this time you're going to get L and planes. Okay. Again, look these words up in the dictionary if you don't know what they mean. With this one, you can take away the R, you get baked, and then you put in the R, you get bread. And with the final one, again, you should be able to tell that again there's an S. So always take away the S first and see if that works. Get side and places.
So, one word in capital has 3 consecutive letters taken out. 3 letters will make one correctly spelt word. Okay. The first word should be Simon wandered along in a world of his own. So and is the correct word. The mechanic worked all day in the garage. We can tell because he's a mechanic. So the word is rag. Sorry. Um, 32, Elizabeth always writes neatly in her book, so the word is eat. 33, the police officer showed great courage because they're arresting a thief, so courage is with our. 34, Jane spent 50p on a pack of coloured, this is to do with like pens, pencils, stuff, so we can just use crayons, so we get Ray. And then for 35, I saw my friend standing on the corner, so it's tan. So yeah, this is more to do with common sense knowledge based on what the sentence is. We can kind of tell all of these. So that's how we get all of our 3 words. I rushed through that a little bit, but hopefully that makes sense. So for 37, we have to find 2 words, one for each group, that are most different in meaning. So we have, in 36, it would be contract, because that's like to shrivel up, and expand, which means like to get bigger. For 37, it would be loud and then soft, because those are to do with volume levels. For 38, it would be lend and borrow, because those are 2 different types of taking something. One you take from someone else, and one you give to someone else. Lending is giving to someone else, borrowing is taking from someone else. 39, we have defeat and victory. Those are 2 types of outcomes. Whereas winner is like a person, so it's a little bit different. If you were assuming that might be the answer. 40, it's start and it's finish, and commence. Those are the 2 different. So it's like start and finish. 41, it is sell and purchase. Selling is the same as purchasing is the same as buying something, is the same as sell and buy as opposites. Now we have 42. Find the 2 words, one from each group, that will complete the sentence in the best way. So for 42, you can see here that we have 3 words and 3 words. Dull is to brilliant, excellent, superb. Light is to bulbous and heavy. We can see that in both of these brackets they have 2 antonyms. So it would be heavy and brilliant. And then we have century is to a type of number, and decade is to type of number, so it would be 100, because that's what a century is, and decade is 10. 44, key is to, we can see door, key, lock, and weight is to heavy, weight, kilo. We can see that they have, homophones, so it's key and weight. Rugby is to kick, try, shot, as football is to goal, penalty, save. The answer here is to do with the types of things that you score. So you score a try in rugby and you score a goal in football. So those are the 2. Then we have coffee is to bean, cup, drink, and tea is to leaf, bag, golf. This is to do with where the things come from. So we have bean and then we have leaf. Say is to tell, said, mention, as find, is determine, found, discover. This is to do with the past tense, so we have said and found. Okay. In these questions, okay, now we have type P, so in these questions you need to find the number that should appear in the brackets and continue the series in the most sensible way. So we have 22, 21, 23, 23, 24, 25, 25. We can see that every other one, it's going up by 1, and these are going up by 2. So it should be going up by 2, so we should get 27. With these ones, we can see there's another alternating pattern. This is going up by 2, so we should get 99, whereas the other one was going up by 3. But that is not of concern to us. For 50, this is going up by 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it should be going up by 7, so it should get 38. Then we have, this is again another alternating pattern. We have 8, 12, 16, and 15, 19. So we're adding 4 between 15 and 19, and also adding 4 between 8 and 12 as well, but we're focused on the 15 to 19. So we add another 4 from 19 to get 23. And then we have another alternating pattern. So we have going down by 3, then by 2, then by 1, and then we have going down by 3, 2, so we'll go by 1, so we get 19. And then we have 121, 81, so that it's going down by 40, and then it's going down by 2, 38, and then it's going down by 29 to 25. Apologies, I'm thinking. It's not going down by 38. It's going down by 32. Sorry, not 38. That was completely wrong of me. 32, and then going down by 24. So it's going down in the 8 times table, so it will go down next by 16. So 25 minus 16 is 9. So we're left with 9. Sorry, 38, I don't know where that came from. Yeah, it should be 9. So we have read the following information to find the correct answer to the question. So Rodney, Albert, Cassie, Raquel, and Derek weigh themselves in a science experiment. Derek weighs more than Raquel. So if we have like a line here, but less than Albert, so Albert weighs more. Rodney weighs less than Cassie, but is lighter than Derek. So Rodney weighs less than Cassie, so Rodney can be at the end, but is lighter than Derek. So Derek weighs more than Cassie as well. So Cassie can be at the very end. So we can see that the answer should be Albert, because it's not mentioned that Albert weighs less than anyone. Okay, so that's all of the VR. So now we're on to the NVR. This is all odd one out to start with. So find the odd one out from the given options. This one is simply C because they're not overlapping. All the other ones are overlapping. 56, you can see on the inside that all of the squares are pointing, or they're all diamond shapes in the middle. The only one that doesn't have diamond shapes that are all saying the same way is B. For 57, we can see that for all of these, there is, for all of these, the triangle is the right way up in every one except for C. So C is the one missing. For 58, we can see that for all of these, the arrow is parallel to the side of the hexagon, whereas for D, it's not. So that's why the answer is D. For 59, we can see that all of these have all of these shapes have one less circle on the outside than the amount of sides it has. So for A, there are 6 sides, it's 5. For C, there are 5 sides, there are 4. For D, there's 5 sides, there are 4. For E, there's 4 sides, there are 3. The only one that has 8 sides and 8 circles, which doesn't fit the rule, is B. For question 60, this one is quite obvious. We can see that it's C because it has a semicircle in it and the rest of them don't. For 61, we can see that the side of the arrow which has the long line is always the white side, whereas for D it's not. So, sorry, that's wrong. We can see that for every one they have 1 long line and 3 short lines. D is the only one that has more, so the answer is D. 62, we can see that in all of these they have the same shape in both ends of the stick, except for A, which has a rotated square and looks like a diamond. For 63, we can see that all of these have a circle, a triangle, and a square in. The only one that has a triangle, square is B, and that's not fitting the rule. For 64, we can see that all of these have white shapes in the middle except for E. Okay, these ones are a little bit confusing, but this is to do with sort of rotating the shape somewhat, and it being different from the rest. We can see that for 65, all of these are the same, but rotated except for B. So B is the odd one out. We can see that for 66, again, this one is a little bit tricky, but for 66, the answer should be C. I think it's to do with the fact that that this line is slightly off center, so it doesn't really make sense. Again, I do acknowledge that that is the same for D, but I think for D, it's off center on both, so it's still like symmetrical, consistent with the lines, whereas all of the others, C is the only one that has inconsistent lines, so it makes it the odd one out. For 67, we can see that the answer should be, the answer is supposed to be E, because we can see that for the rest of these, the shaded parts are consistent, whether they're flipped or not, but for E they're not. For 68, sort of similar again, we can see that the consistent parts of the shape we can see that the only one that is inconsistently shaded to some extent, although I feel like, no, yes, the one that has inconsistent shading should be B, but D also, I think the reason that it's not D is because it's it's this is like a rotation of this shape. So I think that makes sense. This one is very confusing. So apologies if my explanation was not very clear. But yeah, the answer should be B, and I think it's just because of the fact that it has all of this filled up on the sides, whereas the rest of them don't really, except for D. But I think D is sort of like is also rotated the in a different way. Sorry, that was really unclear, but yeah, the answer for 68 is B. For 69, now we're on to analogy. So 69, you can see that the bottom one has just flipped around, so we need the bottom one to just flip around, so the answer is D. For 70, we can see that the amount of sides is the amount of circles in the next shape, and it's gone up double the amount of sides as well for the outside shape. So we need to have an octagon that has 4 circles on the inside. So for 70, we would get... oh, sorry, we don't need that. We just need a hexagon. Ignore me about the amount of sides. We just need 3 in the middle, so we need a hexagon with 4 circles in the middle, so the answer is B. Because that's the only thing that's really consistent. For 71, we can see that it's just the bottom one has stayed the same, and the top has become the opposite, flipped around and become black. So the answer to 71 is B. For 72, we can see that it's just inverted in colour. So for 72, we would need to have A as the answer. For 73, we can see that it's just doubled and flipped to the opposite side. So again, it would have to be E for 73. Sort of in the same way as the 72 inverted, but that was in colour. 74, we can see that the amount of sides on the inside has increased from 4 to 5, and also the outside has increased from 4 to 5 also. So we need a to make it go from 3 to 4 sides, and also the we can also see that the outside shape is the same amount of 74. Yeah, we can see that we need to go from 3 to 4, and the outside shape goes from 4 to 5 also. So I would expect it to be B for this one, even though the mark scheme seems to be telling me it's A, but I don't think. I think this one, the answer is B, because it's gone from 4 to 5 on the outside, and also it's going from 4 to 5 on the inside, and this has gone from 3 to 4, and then going from 4 to 5 on the outside. But again, if you, I see that the answer is B. For 75, we can see that these sides have just flipped around to make a shape, so the answer should be B. Okay. For 76, this is just rotated 45 degrees sort of clockwise, we can assume. So this needs to be rotated 45 degrees clockwise as well. So the answer is E. And then we have 2 similar shapes. We can see that the amount of circles on the inside is the same as the amount of sides. So the answer is C, because there is the same amount, and it's also a regular shape. For 78, we can see that the left corner is all the one that's shaded in black, so the only correct answer is D. So yeah, that's all of the questions. I hope that made sense to you. Sorry, I had a few bit of pause moments and some bits where I kind of disagreed with the mark scheme, but yes, that's it. I hope that was helpful. Thank you, bye.